Yeah.
What affects me are these guys that I'm seeing on YouTube and like these acquaintances that I hear about that have like 100 AI channels
Mhm.
pumping out like 20 pieces of content a day, which means just by sheer volume, you're going to
Mhm.
get diluted out. Like if there's enough of those guys out there. Welcome to the My Wife Quit Her Job podcast. It is the beginning of the year. So, what I thought we would do today is talk about our predictions for 2026 in the content creation space.
I'm excited. I I feel like content creation has made a resurgence.
I'm excited and I'm also a little apprehensive at the same time because I'm seeing these trends, especially with AI kind of taking over the creator economy. And yeah, I'm curious what you have to say about it too. Uh, I mean,
So
AI
and
has
one
already affected my businesses in a fundamental way, right?
yeah.
Just my blog, and I think every blog in my blogging mastermind has been essentially decimated by AI.
Yeah. My thing with AI right now is that I it's so hard to know what to believe.
Yes.
Right? Like I feel like when I'm watching something, especially cuz like okay, we're talking it's the beginning of the year, NFL's in the playoffs, a lot of coaches have been fired, right? I think there's like 7 coaching vacancies and there's all these like TikToks and Instagram reels where it's like the coach, but it's like is that actually him talking? Is that AI? Like it's hard to tell like what's real and what's not, which I think is my biggest problem with AI and how it's changing like how people create content.
I mean, from a creator perspective, what I'm more worried about is less that aspect of what to believe and what doesn't, because that doesn't really affect me.
Yeah.
What affects me are these guys that I'm seeing on YouTube and like these acquaintances that I hear about that have like 100 AI channels
Mhm.
pumping out like 20 pieces of content a day, which means just by sheer volume, you're going to
Mhm.
get diluted out. Like if there's enough of those guys out there, and I'm seeing all of these courses from people teaching faceless AI generated content where they have these automations where
Mhm.
literally you have AI write the script, you hit a button, and then it just pumps out all these videos that automatically get broadcast to all the platforms, shorts, reels, TikToks. And so you get enough people doing that. And if you're a real creator putting out good stuff, you're still going to get drowned out, right?
I don't know. So I think I talked about this on one of the podcasts we recorded before the break, but I told you that my son created a TikTok channel, right?
Yes.
Where and it's AI generated cartoons, right? So he's writing the scripts, he's coming up with the ideas. Well, 1 month ago yesterday, he launched on Instagram. And it's kind of funny because like my kids all grew up like on social media, right? Like we used to do a lot of like publicity and TV, and so they all pretty much have shunned social media. Like most of them don't really like to be on it. Aside from like personally. So he's my first kid that's like actually kind of taken it and run with it. It's like, maybe I can make this into something. And so he started on Instagram a month ago, and when he started, I said, "Hey, Instagram's a much slower growth than TikTok, right? It's going to take you a while, because he doesn't have a platform. He has nothing, right? So yesterday he hit 100K on Instagram
Wow.
in 1 month.
Nice.
And what this tells me is that really clever content still wins, right? Because the stuff he's putting out is really clever, right? It's interesting, it's funny, it's different, right? So he's got an angle, and I feel like a lot of times with like he's using AI to help him as far as like generate the videos, like because it's all animated. But outside of that, like the scripting and everything else is his ideas. And so I think ideas still win, and I don't think AI can trump that right now. Now, not to say that it can't in the future, because I feel like AI just gets better and better, but I think cleverness and, an angle still works regardless. But it's harder because you're right. There's so much content out there that's just being like massively generated every single day. You can't just be average anymore. You've got to be really good.
I mean, I agree with your assessment, and all these platforms are actually doing a good job of, rating these people and only delivering content that's actually, enticing that
Yeah.
people want to watch. I guess the problem is if there's just too much volume for these algorithms, like someone still has to swipe and you still have to get data, right?
Right.
But if it gets to the point where it's like 1,000x what it is today, there's gonna be just too much content for people to swipe through, and there won't be enough data, and everything gets diluted. I don't
Right.
think that's going to happen in 2026, but if this
No.
continues, in the coming years of everyone doing automations, it's going to get to that point, which is why I kind of like China's law, which we discussed in a previous episode, where you can only put out content about finance, health, and law if you have some
Right.
sort of credential.
So, and I think this is, we were just talking about our friend Tiffany Ivanovsky, but another person that is doing this well right now is Jeff Rose. Because, he's like revived his Facebook page or his Facebook channel. I don't really know what they call it anymore, but I think having that shareable or commentable content is where I think you can stand out from just the massively produced AI content. And I think Jeff Rose is doing that. To me, he's a little too like clickbaity controversial, but whatever, it's working, right? Like, cause he's like, would you tip? And he like shows a receipt and it's like, no tip. And everybody has an opinion on whether you should tip or not. Right. And he's posting content like that people are sharing and commenting. Tiffany Ivanovsky does the exact same thing, right? Like she posts a piece of content, that she knows people are going to, comment on and share, and she's much less controversial. She's more funny, right? She gets like the humor angle of it and incorporates all of her family's like crazy adventures. And I think that's why my son's stuff is doing well too, because if you look at like the amount of likes, comments, and shares that his stuff gets, like that's why his channel has grown so quickly, right? Because he'll put out a video and it'll get 4,000 shares, right? And it's really hard to do that with like AI generated just generic content.
Yeah.
Because people just don't share that stuff, right? It's not interesting.
I actually just had Jeff on the pod.
Yeah.
His episode hasn't come out yet, but your son could make like $40,000 to $50,000 a month doing that.
Yeah, I know. We're working on it.
Okay. You just have to get approved. Like I'm trying to get approved right now to do that.
I just submitted mine too after we talked about that.
Okay.
I did that the other day. He totally could, he could do it. But what's funny for him is that it's opened doors for like really interesting partnerships with people. And because he's doing like Bible history, which is like such a strange topic, right? Like to just go viral on. He's had conversations with like archaeologists and historians that like, because he's doing he's like, all I do all day at work, because he works in a restaurant and he works in the back of house. So he listens to podcasts on like historical archaeology digs. So he's like educating himself all day long on all this information and then matching up history with documentation and then making it funny. Right. So he's basically taking information that's like pretty hard. Like none of us are going to read the Dead Sea Scrolls. Right. But he's reading them and learning about them and then breaking them down and making them entertaining and interesting. And I feel like that angle, I don't think we'll ever die. Like, I think that
interesting.
Is, know what I mean? I think that's honestly why, you have had the success that you've had is that you are really good at taking complicated information, like how to start an e-commerce business, right? There's a million people offering a course on that, right? But you've taken it and made it a lot more simple for people to understand. You've broken it down step by step. You tell the truth to people. You're not trying to be like, in a Lamborghini with a money gun. And so I think if you can still do that with any topic, you can have success, because that's what I think AI doesn't do. It does break down things so you can understand them, but then doesn't represent them in a way where I feel like people can really resonate with.
Yeah, totally. And I've been just really shocked after talking to Jeff about the ends that Facebook's willing to pay for now.
Yes. What you were telling me is insane.
It's insane. I know, it's insane. I'm trying to get approved. It'd be pretty easy because he walked me through his strategy on the pod.
Yeah.
And it's pretty easy to pull off. So I figure, I guess there's two forms of content. Like the ones that I've been putting out has been ones that give me influence, meaning like, people sign up for the class and whatnot.
Yeah.
What Jeff is doing doesn't necessarily give him influence.
Right.
Because it's just like funny memes, but it gives him a lot of cash.
Yeah.
So,
well, and he's on like the hot button topics, right? And it's like all the stuff that you see, like obviously I just got back from traveling, but like the hot button topic, in travel is, do you give up your airline seat for a family to sit together? Right. Mm-hmm. Like that is, every video I see, every piece of content, it's like, either people complaining that someone didn't give up their seat or someone complaining that they got asked to give up their seat, right? But everybody has an opinion on this, right? Every single person in the world has an opinion on whether you should give up your seat or not. And it's like, if you want to get people to like engage and share and tag their friends and talk about it and go back and forth in the comments, you have to be, and that's like what Jeff has done really well is he finds those types of topics because everyone has them, right? Like my biggest pet peeve in traveling is people who stop at the top of stairs or an escalator, right? And they just stop and like open up the map. And I was like, maybe don't stop right in front of the top of the escalator. Like if I posted that, it would get 1,000 comments, right? Of like other people's pet peeves of how people walk around in another city. So.
And that's what it takes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Or just be a crazy expert, right? Like I always follow the plastic surgery people who are like, did Bradley Cooper have plastic surgery?
Yeah, but those are interesting too, right?
They are interesting, but like, but that's once again using like kind of what you're doing, using your expertise to make commentary, right, on things and teach people. So I think there's still 2 ways to go about it.
Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about are podcasts and video podcasts. I think we've reached peak podcast.
Okay, but did you see what was the award show? Golden Globes? Was that what just happened?
With Nikki Glaser?
Yes. Yes. I think that was Golden Globes. They entered this year. This year was the first year they had a category for best podcast.
Yeah, that's how you know you've hit like everyone in their so I went to a couple of events recently and everyone wants to start a podcast. Mm-hmm. Not a YouTube channel, but like a podcast.
Yeah.
And I was chatting with this one person. I'm like, you realize that like podcasting is way harder to grow than than a regular YouTube channel, and arguably less effort.
Lot less effort.
A lot less effort. Well, I guess it just depends. But if everyone and their mother wants to start a podcast, that's usually when I think we've hit peak podcast. And like everyone and their mother has a podcast now.
Yeah, it's and it's funny, like all the celebrities that are starting to have podcasts or also now going on podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and they're all interview based podcasts too.
Like Amy Poehler won the other night for her podcast, which but here's the thing. I think the way to grow your podcast, if you have one already or you've made the decision to start, is that I think how Amy Poehler has been successful, other than the fact that she's Amy Poehler, so like right there, she's got lots of clout. And she can get, she had Gwyneth Paltrow on, right? So she's getting like major celebrities.
Of course.
But like all the clips that come out, right? The clip I saw yesterday was her and Gwyneth Paltrow talking about how their dream time to eat dinner is 6 p.m. so that they can be in bed at 8, right? And it's like, once again, hundreds of comments, super relatable. Like, Gwyneth's like, I like to be the first person in the restaurant. She's like, and if I can be in bed at 8, and Amy Poehler's like, that's the dream, isn't it? Like, they're just like, but you know what I mean? But like, I didn't listen to the whole podcast, right? But that clip has, 100,000 likes and that's how people are making their podcast work. I don't know how many people actually sit and watch the entire, people still do. My kids all listen to podcasts, right?
Hey, just a quick heads up. Tickets for my annual e-commerce conference, the Seller Summit, are now on sale over at sellersummit.com. If you run an e-commerce business selling physical products, this event was built for you. Unlike typical events filled with broad advice and feel-good stories, the Seller Summit is all about real strategies you can actually use. Every speaker I invite is deep in the trenches, running their own store and dealing with the same challenges you face every single day. Now, we keep the event intentionally small, just 200 people, so it stays intimate, and you actually get time to connect, ask questions, and have meaningful conversations. I've sold out every single year for the past 9 years. And if your store is already doing over $250K or $1 million in revenue, we also run a private mastermind with other top sellers in the space. You can learn more and grab your ticket over at sellersummit.com. Now back to the show.
Yeah, there's just so many. Because I listen to a podcast every time I run. Yeah. And the ones I listen to tend to be about like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
And how many I run 2 or 3 times a week. How many podcast episodes can I listen to? Right?
Not very many.
Not very many. And the number of podcasts out there, interview shows, if you can get someone huge on your podcast, then yes, of course. Yeah. But if you're just starting out like with an interview podcast of just people that no one knows, I think it's going to be really hard at this point.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been podcasting for over a decade, so I already have like an established base. But if I were starting all over today, I probably would not go the podcast route unless I had some very special angle or access to like, people who have a large audience.
Yeah. Actually, my son called me yesterday. He's like, I think I'm going to start a podcast. And I'm like,
That's
I'm
how
like,
you know you've reached peak podcast.
I know. And I'm like, dude, you started doing this 2 months ago and now you're like, internet famous. You got to calm down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, but he like wants to do one on like, historical, like all this stuff. And I was like, you know what? I think there's still space for those types of things.
Yeah, I think that would work because that's something
Yeah.
that's random. I'm just talking about like your old interview-based show
Yeah,
that everyone and their mother's doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I still, it's funny, even with all of that, we know people who watch podcasts on their TV at night instead of Netflix.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, crazy to me.
And the other conversation I had with someone the other day was, how when you're browsing shorts and just the sheer amount of content that's out there these days, like I'm not really loyal to anybody, right? Like
Yeah.
if someone flashes by, like I don't go out and seek all their content and just watch it. I'm just like blindly scrolling now, and I literally have to see someone maybe 20 times before I even remember who they are as I'm scrolling.
I'm definitely very unloyal, except for, unless you get sucked in, right? There's always and that's once again going back to like, what are you doing that's so interesting or so captivating?
Yeah.
Remember the lady? Of course, we always laugh when we try to do this because we have such different TikTok algorithms. But like the lady who did the folding laundry. She like taught people how to.
I remember.
fold
Yeah.
So she just got married, right? And did I go through every single wedding TikTok video? Oh, yes, I did, right? Like, because I was so invested in her from her laundry days, right? But for the most part, I'm going to scroll by anything like that. So you're right. You've got to really have an interesting.
I mean, even full length YouTube videos that I watch, like, I watch it just for the topic, but like, it's very few people that like actually grab me where I actually want to check out like the rest of their channel. Yeah. And even same with the podcast. I find myself listening to podcasts now because of who's on and not necessarily because of who the actual show is.
Yeah.
Right. Who it belongs to. Because again, I think we're just getting to this point where just so much content out there. Yeah. The other thing I'm getting kind of tired of, and I'm hoping this prediction will come true, like on my TikTok feed and my Instagram feed, it's every third person is pushing some product.
Yes.
I don't know if your feed is like that. And it's gotten to the point where I don't think any of this stuff is genuine at all.
I don't like it because I feel like back in my day, like when I talked about a product, it was because like I had used it, I liked it, I was willing to vouch for it. But like there's a product in my feed all the time, and here's how I know it's that they have shipped it to every celebrity. Bethany Frankel is doing it, as well as Shawn Johnson, the gymnast, right? And it's some like liver detox, get your cortisol, like it's totally the menopause like level stuff that's in my feed. But I'm like, you're telling me these two different people use this product, and this is like why? Like, no, you're fit because you're a gymnast, and you're fit because you have like great genetics, and you also probably eat 2 avocados a day, right? So like, I don't know. That to me, I agree with you. I think it's such overkill. I don't trust anything that comes out anymore, especially from like bigger creators.
And then occasionally I'll see something that's AI and it's very well done, but it's pitching some product also.
Yeah.
This is probably happening more on TikTok because I guess I'm more on TikTok than I am on the other platforms. But if it gets to this point where everyone's putting out, getting paid to pitch something, and then you use AI to have like a human fake pitch something, no one's going to believe anything anymore. And just the whole influencer economy is just going to go to crap.
Yeah.
At least for pitching.
Which I wouldn't be mad about.
I would not be mad about, but I don't know how you fix that problem, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you get real, genuine reviews of a product?
Yeah. I don't know anymore, honestly. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I definitely, that's one of those old, like, nostalgic, I miss the old days where it's like when, when someone was talking about a product, it's because they actually cared about and used it. And, you know, even though I fought so hard for like creators to be paid, right? And for like to fairly, like, you know, we talk about the day that, you know, I got a free Twinkie for posting about Weight Watchers Twinkies. Like, I don't want to go back to that, right? Where it's like, hey, create 4 well-edited, greatly produced videos for a box of, you know, snacks. But yeah, I don't know how you combat that, especially.
I mean, I'm not saying the influencer economy is dead. I mean, if you have someone who has like a good reputation,
yeah,
I mean, it'll still work. Like me, for example, like I don't ever take on those things.
yeah,
Right. So if I say I like a product, I'm willing to stake my reputation on it in general, you know,
yeah.
for that product.
Well, and it's definitely not dead because like, so Shalene, who, she, you know, she does some sponsored stuff, but a lot of times she'll be like, she'll post a picture and she's like, I got these shoes on Amazon. Right.
Yeah.
And you go click, you can't buy those shoes on Amazon anymore. Like they sell out. Like if she talks about a product, it's gone. Right. And there are people like her that like, you know, Bethany's another one where she does a lot of sponsored stuff, but also she's like, hey, I'm wearing these pants right now that I bought on Amazon because she talked about how great they were. And I was like, these are like, they look cute. They're like travel pants. Right. And, you know, I went and bought them. I was so excited they were still in stock because most of the time when she talks about something and you go to click on it, if you're not watching the video in the first 30 minutes, you can't get the product, especially especially an Amazon product.
Yeah. I mean, so that's the type of influencer marketing.
Yeah.
And again, I think AI has just made everything just so much worse.
Yeah.
Because there's entire platforms out there that are designed for you to use AI avatars to pitch your products in e-commerce now, right?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing like a lot of these shop owners are like, hey, why do I need to pay so much money for these influencers anymore?
Right.
Especially since the whole influencer economy does not really depend on how many subscribers you have anymore, right?
Right.
It's based on how good the content is.
Yeah.
And so if you can create the content with AI, why bother hiring these influencers?
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah,
See what happens with that.
We'll see. The other thing that's been on my mind, at least, has been this Gemini summarize button on YouTube videos. I'm not sure if you've played around with that.
I've seen it. I've not played around with it yet.
So these days, and this is just something that's happened to me, I actually don't watch most YouTube videos anymore.
You just have Gemini summarize them?
I don't actually use Gemini. That button actually doesn't work that well just yet if you've tried it. Because you can't like tell it exactly what you want out of it. So
yeah,
I've been using this YouTube plugin, not YouTube plugin, it's a Chrome plugin that just sends the entire transcript over to ChatGPT. And you can have these set prompts where it just gives you everything in like a bullet pointed list.
Yeah.
So if I see like a 20-minute video or 25-minute video, I'm always thinking to myself, man, there's no way I want to sit through this video. I just want the guts.
Right.
And so it just spits out the summary in ChatGPT, and that's good enough.
So we talked about this like 2 years ago.
Do we really?
Well, okay. No, we talked about the summarize factor. Right when AI was like starting, people were like really getting into it, and we were talking about how we used it. And I said that my brother was using it to summarize my mom's text to the group chat, right? Because she often will send like boomer text, right? Like super long, informational, and it's like nobody has time to read all this. Like, so he would summarize everything in like, I think it was probably ChatGPT back then, and then like send it to me and my sister. So we were like, oh, her neighbor's having surgery. You know, she went to so-and-so's house for dinner or whatever. But I feel like this is just like the next generation of that, right? Like who has time to watch a 20-minute video when you can summarize it? So my question then is, if you are making content, right, on YouTube, like how do you make content that people don't want to summarize so they watch your video?
Well, see, that's what got me thinking that, because a lot of my stuff is...
yours is very summarizable.
It's teaching content, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to switch up my strategy this year and just make it more entertaining in some way. And I know you're laughing.
Like, what are you going to do?
I don't know. Maybe it can be something in the delivery, maybe more like Asian jokes. I don't know, or something. Or
Asian jokes don't transcribe well, so you know you got it.
I was trying to think about the creators that I actually watch.
Yeah.
All the way through. And it's usually the ones who are kind of funny, or they do like some crazy editing,
Yeah.
or they're just entertaining in some way. It's just hard to describe. And I'll
Yeah.
sit through and watch it. And because I'm thinking about the most videos I watch these days, honestly, are Niners and Warriors videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
And really, it's just their takes. And it's usually just like a talking head, right?
Yeah.
And those are, you would think, summarizable really easily, right?
Yeah.
But I actually sit through and watch the whole video. And it's literally just a talking head with no video. But it's because like the words they use to describe it, like the teams and the trades and everything that's going on,
Yeah.
that when you send it to a summary, it's like not as interesting for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I don't know, once again, our feeds are so different, but there's always these creators that have like 5-minute TikToks that like it's this long involved story, right?
Yeah.
And there's always the first comment in these videos are like, let me get to the point for you. And like literally someone has I'll watch the video so you don't have to, right? There's people who have actually created TikTok accounts that summarize other people's videos that
No
are
way.
like, yes.
Okay.
And so they're like, she went on the date, this happened, blah, blah, blah. He never called her back. Then she married his best friend. Like, and basically they summarize like a 10-minute TikTok video into like 35, 40 seconds. So like people have already been doing this for years, but now, AI is doing it instead. So I don't know. For me, partly I'm like, well, you know what? Hopefully this makes people get to the point quicker, because I often don't like when I'm watching a video and I have to listen to people ramble. Like that's what annoys me. It's like when back in blogging, when everyone was like, oh, recipes have to have SEO. So like the first 42 paragraphs of a recipe was like talking about their grandmother's house in Italy and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, just tell me how many tomatoes, right?
Right, right.
So I feel like in some ways I don't mind the summary, but in other ways, like obviously as a creator, you're not going to make money if people just summarize all your videos and don't watch them. So you've got to be interesting enough. I don't even think you have to be entertaining. I think you have to be interesting. I mean, entertaining works too.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, because if it's just pure based teaching content, which is actually something that we've pitched for many years, if it's just pure teaching content that's easily summarizable, maybe that won't last like the next couple of years.
Yeah,
is what I'm thinking. So you have to make it interesting in some way. It could be like your delivery.
Yeah,
it could be any of these very nuanced things that make you stand out.
Well, not to pat us on the back, but I'm going to, as you know, I love to do. But that's a lot of feedback we get for the course, is that people love our interaction with each other, right? Like how we usually have very different opinions about things, and we joke around a lot, and, we're not afraid to kind of pick on each other a little bit. And we've had people that get very turned off by that, right? We had someone on a webinar once that was like, you're so mean. Right?
Because you are mean.
I am mean. But like you need it sometimes. Someone's got to bring you down to real life.
Right.
But like the people who watch us regularly think it's hilarious because they know our personalities, and they know that, we're obviously very good friends, and we don't have a mean bone in our body towards each other, right? Like it's all in fun and games. But I think that's one thing that makes people gravitate towards the stuff we do, is because they do like that interaction, right? Which you would never get in a summary. In a summary, it wouldn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
So I think, if you can find that angle, right, where people are like, oh, but I like the back and forth, or it's interesting, or I like the tension, right? Like for some reason, my feed has blown up with like the Dax Shepard, Kristen Bell drama, which I didn't even know there was drama until, basically he interviewed Cher on his podcast, and and Kristen Bell was in the room too, and she kept like trying to mitigate what he was saying, and like it was like very much like a very dysfunctional relationship, and so people are like over analyzing so now I'm like on this whole quest to like find out what's wrong with their relationship, because I've gotten sucked into the videos. But like now I will watch all the interaction between the two of them, because I was like, ooh, wait, did she just make an excuse for him, blah blah blah, like what's happening, but once again, it's not necessarily fun. It's kind of dysfunctional, but keeps you watching.
We have totally different feeds.
Yes, I know we do.
Yeah. So here's one thing that's kind of excited me a little bit too, is the fact that I was on Netflix the other day and I saw Mark Rober's YouTube videos packaged in a Netflix special that was ranking in the top 10.
Crazy.
And what that why that excites me is that if you have like a huge YouTube audience and you create like my videos will never make it, but like if you do entertaining videos,
Right.
like places like Netflix will buy you. And like if you watch, I don't know if you watch any of those videos in the Mark Rober specials, it's literally his YouTube videos.
Yeah.
It's his YouTube videos with maybe like a short intro that he
Mm-hmm.
recorded, like a 30-second intro, and then it's just a straight YouTube video. So they're literally just packaging all of his YouTube videos onto Netflix. And the
Yeah.
fact that Netflix is willing to do that makes it pretty exciting because, so I don't know if you remember, it was like 5 years ago, we did a show called 5 Minute Pitch.
Yes.
And we were actually trying to get on Netflix and Hulu.
Oh,
Because
I
I
did
have a
not know
buddy
that.
who was
Yeah.
high up at Hulu,
Yeah.
and I kind of just asked him. He was like, "Yeah, sorry, Steve, but like these shows, like Netflix just doesn't buy stuff like that,
Yeah.
especially if it's like a show where there's like a winner and the winner's already been announced." So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
but now, if you put together something good on YouTube and it gets a lot of traction, you have a chance of making it on Netflix.
Well, it's interesting because it makes sense, right? It follows the book deal model, right? Because I remember when I was like early in the blogging days, any blogger who got big would immediately get contacted about a book deal, right? Because it was so easy for the publishing houses to work with a content creator who had 1 million visits a month to their website, because no just regular person who writes a book can promote like that their own stuff, right? So it's kind of the same thing as if you ever look at like the Nielsen ratings and how many people are estimated to watch certain things. It's amazing how little people watch stuff. Right,
Yeah.
with a small number. So if you're like Mr. Beast, right, which he's obviously an extreme example, and he's got his own TV show and everything now. So, but like, it's much easier to work with a content creator who already can like promote everything and already has the eyeballs than like launching a brand new show where nobody, unless it's got like Harrison Ford's in it or something like that. That's tough. It's much easier to work with a content creator because they already have the built-in audience. Netflix doesn't have to do any work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, just even last year, this was kind of unheard of, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and
Can't
then
wait
the
to
other,
see you on Netflix.
yeah, right. I'd have to fundamentally change everything up.
Yes.
But that'd be like a bucket list. Maybe one day I will do it
Okay.
and try to make something just kind of more entertaining in general. Okay. So the next thing that I was thinking, a prediction, is that because of AI and all this artificial stuff going on out there, people are going to start craving like real people.
Yep.
Is what I'm predicting. So events, in-person events like the Seller Summit, I think people are going to start craving that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's interesting too, because I feel like we're finally like truly post-pandemic, right? And we hear a lot about people like being forced to go back to work and all this stuff. And so it's like, I feel like, the mind shift is changing again. And so people want to be interacting with people in real life, right? Not just from behind a screen, not from the way that they've been doing it for a while. My fear is that there is a group of people who grew up basically in this anonymous economy, basically. Right? I don't know if you saw the video of the person who was offered $150,000 a year for a job to work remote, but if they were willing to go in the office, it was $250,000 a year. So same exact job, same exact responsibilities, $150 to do it all remote, $250 to go into the office like 4 days a week. And they were like, no way I would go into the office for $100,000. Right? I'm like, well, who are you that you don't need another $100,000 a year? I mean, that's a significant amount of money so I worry about like this small group of people who like kind of came of age during all of this. And I wonder how they will embrace it. But I feel like anybody who's like 30 plus, like can't wait to go in person and like get out there. And even my 19-year-old, like she lives to go to like all the Comic-Cons and stuff like that. And like, meet other creators, meet other, people that are into the same things that she is. So I think, the events will make a resurgence, right? People will want to be out there. They'll want to connect. They'll want to like have real friendships and meet people that they've been talking to online, that they have never actually seen in person.
You know that analogy about working remote and working in
Yes.
person? Like maybe it's just
Yeah.
I'm an old Chinese man now, but like I could not imagine not working in person on the engineering teams that I worked at when, when I had a
Yeah.
full-time job. You
Yeah.
just can't get anything done remote. It's easier just to like I can't remember, like it was countless times where I had to walk over to somebody
Yeah.
and work together in person on something. So that I would just never hire that person, basically.
Well, and I feel like
But
that's the shift too, is people are not like, I think remote work is not going to be the same as it was. I think that's changing, right?
oh, well,
For
it's already changed
employers.
here in the Valley.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to go in at least 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And like they actually monitor badge swipes now too.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think honestly though, the value of going to an event in general and interacting with people, like um last month I went to a wedding in North Carolina, and one of our Seller Summit alumni, Chris Cody, who owns Deb Specs, uh, lives like just happened to live in the same town where this wedding was. So we met up for dinner, and like just hanging out with him and like chatting about our kid. He has a son, chatting about the kids, chatting about like he just relocated there. And then talking some business stuff too, right? Like, but I would never have that relationship with him. I would have never met up with him if I hadn't met him at Seller Summit, right? Like some random person on the internet, not meeting up with you for dinner. But I just, when we were hanging out, I was like, man, I miss like hanging out with people and having conversations and letting the conversation flow, because you're sitting at dinner for 2 hours, right? And at the end of dinner, he's like, we were talking about something. He's like, I have an idea for you. And like basically gave me a really great idea. And then, we've been following up with email and stuff like that. But, I just feel like you can't get all of that online.
I think me and you are different. I think you're fundamentally more social than I am. Like for me, actually, the
Yeah.
reason to go to live events is because I feel like the internet is just so noisy. Like my personality is that if I can learn it myself, somehow I'll usually try to do that. But now with like everyone and their mother putting out content, you have no idea who to trust.
Right.
Going to live events is a way for me to get content from people that I trust, or strategies and whatnot for people I trust. And not, I mean, the personal relationships to me are very valuable as well. But I personally, for me, I go to events not necessarily to meet people, but to just get like the real story from people who are actually doing stuff.
But
And the friendships just develop. Yeah.
But I think that's basically the same, right? Because you want the real story, but you're not never. You can get the real story online. It's not the same.
You have to sift through junk to get the real story now. That's the problem.
Actually, last week, I got a text from our friend Dana Jean-Zemas, who sent me an article. She's like, I read this. I thought you would really enjoy it, right? Well, she knew I would enjoy that because of the interactions we've had in person, comments that I have made to her, like not thinking about, like, I'm not trying to impress her. I'm not trying to, just like she knows I've said things about this article and was like, hey, this might be interesting to you, right? Like that we wouldn't have those same conversations online. And so I feel like you do get the real deal from people. You always used to joke. I remember this was like your trick back in the day.
What was the trick?
This trick, you know it. That
okay.
you would hang out at the bar sober.
Oh, yes.
And wait for people to get a couple drinks in them. And then you would get the real scoop on the business or the project or what was going on, that still works today. That still works.
I mean, really, that's like the best. Actually, if you think about it this way, no one really ever publishes their full playbook online, right?
No.
I mean, the stuff that really works, people keep tight to the vest.
Yep.
And it's only through inebriation sometimes that you can get those facts out of somebody. Like I can't tell you how many things I've just learned going to events at the bar, just learning from the bar.
Yeah.
Or just even numbers, like raw revenue numbers, and just the problems that people are having with their businesses. Like I get this on the podcast too, right? Because when we're not recording, the person I'm interviewing just reveals a whole bunch of stuff. I wish I could just record those moments and I could, but like I would feel disingenuous publishing that, right?
Yeah.
But what you hear on podcasts traditionally is rarely the full story for anyone's podcast. Yeah. It's kind of like how reality television,
Yeah.
Like what you see is not really what's the reality going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I feel like too, and obviously we have a closed course. So like we teach a lot of stuff in that course that we would not share publicly, right? Because that's a space of people that, have paid to be in there. We trust them, with information. But I feel like it's very similar at events where when you're having a conversation with somebody, after you kind of get the vibe about them, right? You're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to give this person the extra nugget of information, right? That I'm never going to share publicly. I won't maybe even share it from the stage, but I will share it with you because it seems like it will help you in what you're doing. And I know that you're not going to go blast it everywhere too, right? And I feel like you only get that impression from people usually when you've hung out in person and had like conversations with them and they've built that trust.
Yeah.
So... Plus, I love hugs. That's the main reason.
All right. And the final thing I want to just kind of bring up here, at least what I'm seeing on YouTube, because I watch a lot of YouTube videos as research for my own channel, is that YouTube has a little space now where you can actually ask it. It's kind of like the search bar, but not really. But you can ask it what type of videos that you want to see and kind of guide the feed. Because with TikTok, like you have no control over anything.
Right.
But it's interesting that YouTube has provided a way to kind of control your feed, and I find that pretty interesting too.
Do you use it?
I used it just in the name of just research, right? Yeah. Because it's better than the search bar. The search bar will give you those videos that you're searching for, but this other one fundamentally alters your feed.
Do you feel like it? Did you get what you wanted from it? Like, did you feel like it worked?
It worked. However, like it gave me a bunch of creators that, so just to be clear, I was looking for like marketing strategies for the year. It gave me a whole bunch of people who I never heard of before.
Okay.
And unfortunately, a lot of those videos that I got were like really spammy. Yeah. Like how I made like $1 million in, a month doing that. So
sitting on top of their Lamborghini.
No Lambo, but like it was like a kid who looked younger than my children. Yeah. Spouting stuff like
immediate trust factor 0.
Yeah, exactly. Not to say that young people can't do it, but the trust factor does diminish greatly.
Yeah. So I haven't tried it. I'll have to look into it. My total sidebar, but I was on TikTok and I accidentally like hit my phone with my finger and I ended up in the STEM section of TikTok. So all of a sudden all my videos were like science related. And I was like, wow, how did my algorithm shift so quickly from celebrity drama to math equations? But anyway, I was like, oh, the algorithm's broken. Then I found
the reason why I
space.
think that's important is because like if you're on TikTok and you accidentally breathe a little too long on a video, you're going to get a whole bunch of those same videos, right? Yes. And you want to be able to control that a little bit. So.
Yes. It's actually a strategy that I think Sabrina from Blotato teaches in her when she puts out content, is basically when you're starting a new TikTok channel, you actually want to be in the algorithm that your channel would be in. Right. So you want to only like watch and interact with people that would align with the content that you're going to put out. And that's how you basically seed a new TikTok account, which we've done with ours. And it actually has worked. I mean, it clearly works. But it's
I picture
crazy.
Your feed as like just all Dax Shepard and whatever, Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell. Yeah. That's my personal feed. My personal feed is garbage. I did spend like 2 minutes on the STEM feed. I felt much smarter. I'm ready to put in my college applications now, and we're good to go.
My whole feed is college apps people, actually. Right.
Well, I told you last year my feed was the kids getting either their acceptance or rejection letters. Like they felt. Have you ever seen these videos yet?
Of course I have. Yeah, okay. Of course I have.
Well, because you hadn't when we talked about it, and I was like, it's literally I can't. It's too emotional. I get like so sad or so happy for these people. Like I'm too invested.
It's actually caused more paranoia in our household than not, because there are these kids with awesome resumes who aren't getting into any schools. So.
Yes, they're like, I'm the president of every club. I have a 5.7 GPA. I've scored 10 million on the SAT. I've helped homeless pets. Like, and they're like, and we didn't get into the community college. So.
Yeah. So overall, I'm pretty bullish on the creator economy. I just think that some changes need to be made, at least to my strategy,
Yeah.
going forward to account for AI and like the behavior of the audience.
I still think there's no better time to be a creator. I think the opportunities are out there, and if you have something interesting, you can still grow a successful channel, account, whatever you want to do.
I'm actually excited about your son's account. I think he could be making a lot of money.
I know. I'm very excited to get him off
yeah.
the mom payroll. Just kidding. He's not on my payroll. But but no, just watching his success over the past 2 months really has given me like new excitement about content creation. I feel like for a couple years you and I were really down on it, and now I feel like I'm back up on the content train again.
Yep.